gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any materials produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Paranormal Buzz Radio is proud to present Girls vs. Ghost Media's The Dr. Gina Show with Gina Marie. Gina is a psychic medium and an intuitive counselor who has a bachelor's degree in psychology, master's degree in counseling, and a doctorate degree in occupational therapy. The Dr. Gina Show is live on Spreaker every other Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, 6 Pacific, right here on Paranormal Buzz Radio. Be sure to follow Gina on all her social media. Ladies and gentlemen, here's your host, Gina Marie.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dr. Gina Show. It's been a while, and I am excited to be here tonight, back on the air. I want to thank Shay for all her amazing posters that she puts out on the internet to advertise my show and for running the show. And I also want to thank some of my friends who I know are going to support me, and Jackie and Joanna and Joy, I know you guys are listening. Remember that we have the interactive chat. So this isn't like the show I did before where you call in. So make sure you go to the link, and if you want the live chat, you can type questions in. I am not doing personal questions, but you can type questions about the show, and when Shay and I come on at 8:40 together, we will be in the chat and addressing some of the questions. So tonight, spirit communication is my topic. So I will, of course, if you know me and you know how I've done my other shows, what I do is I consult spirit when I do the show. So sometimes I'll be channeling, and spirit's actually giving me the information to tell you. And sometimes I'm just regular Dr. Gina, and I'm giving my information on things that I know. So it'll be a mixture. I'll be channeling the council, and when I do channel the council, Christopher, my guide, he'll be with me, and he steps in and helps me relay messages from the council. And I also never really know what spirit's going to come in and talk to me. Again, if you guys been following me, you know that I always channel the council. Sometimes Bruce comes in. We like to call him Bruce with the juice. My angel Anna might come in sometimes. I also channel Archangels Gabrielle and Ariel. I never really know who's going to come in. I have another spirit guide that comes in, Anne Maria or Hector. So they could come in, and, you know, you never know. Someone new might come in. So I don't know. But, again, so I want to talk about spirit communication. And what's a great topic to talk about is I have done just recently, 2 weekends ago, I did my first official ghost hunt. And it was in the Eloise Psychiatric Hospital in Detroit. I was super excited about this because before I did my first ghost hunt, I was with Weird Weekends in Salem, and Donnie Irvin actually showed me my first, it was like a spirit communication box. I'm sorry, I don't know all the official terms on this, but it was a box where spirit would talk back. And because I'm a medium, I do talk to spirit, and I do get a lot of confirmations from my clients, like, yes, that's his name, or yes, that happened. But it was super, super cool this first time in Salem to have spirit talk to this box. I can't remember the guy's name. I was talking to him in Salem that lived in the house, but I'm going to say I think his name was John. So I asked him his name, and he told me John, and I asked him when he lived, and he told me the year and what he did for work, just like when I'm talking to regular spirit. You know, they and again, my clients will confirm, and that's super cool. But I have to tell you, the confirmation on that spirit box, when Donnie and myself clearly heard the spirit say, and Lindsay was with us, and Wendy clearly heard the spirit say, John, like I almost died. I was like hooked on talking to ghosts in spirit boxes from that minute on. And that's what made this opportunity to be at Eloise super amazing. I was with Detroit Paranormal, super amazing group of guys, and Brandy was the medium that was there, and Ken Boggle was there with Weird Weekends. It was just, I can't even explain how amazing it was. So spirit communication and to be validated through this voice box was super crazy. And one of the things that I was validated for in Eloise, and I feel like a little kid with this validation with the spirit box. And again, I'm validated all the time with clients, but something about the spirit box. So Jeff from DPX had this other spirit box, like a bigger one than Donnie had. So it was super big. I never saw one like this, and it was super cool. And we were up in one of the rooms, and I had said that there was a dog here. And I asked the dog's name, and the spirit told me Pete. And then Jeff asked the spirit box, or Jeff asked the spirit, and the spirit said, yes, there was a dog, and confirmed his name was Pete. Well, it was the coolest thing, like, in life, just to hear that spirit communication through the box. So if anyone's ever done a ghost tour or wants to do one, like, I can't, for me, even being a medium who talks to spirit all the time, super amazing, just super cool to actually hear the spirit talk. And I had come on one of Shay's shows before I was on her show like this, and I had told her, they were talking about shadow people, and it was like a black figure, and I was like, oh, I never really saw one. So Ken and I were up on another floor, and me and Ken at the same time were just both like, and I saw my first shadow person. It was super, super cool. So not only did I see my first shadow person, but Ken asked, like, he wanted to talk to him. So I was like, okay. So when I communicate to spirit, if anyone's had a reading with me or listened to me, I will go into, I like to call it, I go to the other side. So I do my protection, like I'll put a white light around myself for protection. I put a blue light for healing. I ask for only spirits that walk in the light of God. No other spirits welcome. And then whoever I'm doing the reading for, I'll ask for only spirits for whoever, because I do get a lot of spirit jumpers. So if I'm doing a reading, say, for Gail, and Gail's my client, I'll say, please, only spirits that are here to speak with Gail at this time. Any other spirit that's not here for Gail, I ask not to come in at this time. Because if I'm reading for Gail, and then after Gail I have Heather, some of the Heather spirits might start jumping in and come into Gail's reading. So I'm talking to Gail, and I'm like, do you know Patrick? She's like, no. I'm like, well, Patrick's here, and he says he's your father. And she's like, no. But here it's actually for my next client. But I've learned since I've really done this, it really keeps spirit out. It really does. I mean, I can't say it's 100% because just like people, spirit, sometimes they're pushy and they want to push to the front of the line, or, you know, they want to communicate. So I cannot always keep spirit out by saying that, but it does help a lot. And they do kind of respect that a lot if I ask for only spirits that are here. And then I also give spirit, I say, hey, and if you want to talk to me later, as long as you don't wake me up at night, we're cool. Come talk to me another time. Just please not during this reading. And again, like 8 out of 10 times, I won't get what I call spirit jumpers. When they see the light go on or me go on the other side, they try to get a message in. I have, not that often, but there's been a few times I've been doing readings, and I'll say, do you know Carol? There's a Carol here. Carol's your mother. She died, because I'm in channel, so I'm not really paying attention. Then all of a sudden it clicks to me. That's my mother coming in. She has something to say to me. Now, she doesn't always do this, but there's been several times, and my mother was a hairdresser. And it usually happens when I'm reading a hairdresser. So it has been times where she has come in and given me a message, and so has my grandmother a couple times. So occasionally my family jumps in. They don't go with the rules, and they believe that it's okay for them to jump in. And again, they're pretty respectful, but every once in a while they'll be jumping in to give me a message, and I'm like, holy shit, like, I'm sorry, like, this message is for me. And my clients are usually cool. We laugh. I take my message, and I kind of put it on the side, and that's where that goes. So that goes back to, like, Eloise. So I did a gallery reading when I was at Eloise. Now, if you guys never been to one of these tours at Eloise, God, like I said, super, super amazing. So Ken and I had done a gallery reading. So that means, like, if you had been to one of my gallery readings, there'll be people in the audience, and I will connect to them, and each one, I'll just get messages from Spirit and see who says what. So I was a little nervous, thinking, oh my God, there's like all these spirits here. So before I did my reading, I asked Spirit, I said, okay, what can I ask for only spirits that people are in the audience for? Any other spirit, like, meaning like all the other spirits that were there, I asked to please not talk to me. And I wasn't really sure they were going to pay attention, but literally, like, I could see the nurses and the doctors keeping all the patients away from me, and they were all trying to come in the room, and they were being curious because, you know, they wanted to see what was going on. But it was so cool to see this happen and see Spirit, like, listening to me. And then for the people that were in the room, I was able to connect to their friends and their loved ones, and they came through, and I didn't even get, I have to go back and listen to that gallery tape, but I'm pretty sure I didn't get any spirit jumpers. That most of the names and the spirits that I did get that come through were all somebody that was there for the gallery and not somebody else. And that's because Spirit was listening to me, and they respected me. And again, some of the patients, because remember, some of the patients there was a psychiatric hospital. When they died, they didn't all of a sudden become in the right state of mind. No, a lot of them still walk around in that state of mind. However, the doctors and nurses, as they were in the right state of mind, they still control the patients there. And that was super cool and crazy to see, like, amazing. Also, while I was there, like, I guess I didn't notice this, and then I remember, like, Donnie and Joe from DPX were like, your whole back is scratched up. Well, my back was super scratched up, so apparently Spirit was trying to get my attention when I was doing the gallery, scratching my back. But I didn't pay attention because I was in my channel. But I had a lot of scratches on my back that time because they wanted my attention, I guess. And plus, a lot of them were bad, not bad as an evil, but, you know, just ornery because they were, again, in the psychiatric hospital. So that's some of the ways that I do communicate to Spirit. Now, one of the reasons I am a medium, and I'm a psychic as well. But one of the reasons that they say medium, because it's where Spirit, they say, comes to meet you halfway. So they call it, like, mediumship. Now, for me, when I connect to Spirit, they're not always coming from the top. A lot of them do. A lot of them come from the top, and they come down. And when I'm talking to Spirit, when I go on the other side, like when I say, okay, I start my reading, I go on the other side, I sometimes, you know, they're nervous. They don't want to come in. They don't know what to say. And sometimes I have to, like, say it's okay, and I have to talk to them. And slowly they start coming down, or there'll be another spirit there, be it their sister, their brother, whoever, and they'll talk for them until they get comfortable to come down. I see it like a house of mirrors when I'm doing a reading. Spirits are in every place. I'm catching one to the left, to the right. They're coming all different ways. A lot of times if I'm doing a reading and it's on the mother side of the family, I'm training my guides to keep them on the right side so that I know this is the mother side. And then if you're the father side, you're the left side. It doesn't always work out, but Christopher he's one of my main guides. He's able to show me this is the mother side by keeping them over here. Like, he's like the traffic director for me over there when I'm talking to Spirit. That's always with me when I'm doing my readings. Again, it doesn't always happen, but it happens a lot because Spirit does listen to you. But again, it's not a perfect thing. It's just like teaching a whole bunch of kids in class, or even adults. Like, some of them are going to listen to the rules, and some of them are going to break the rules. So they'll go against it. So you really never know what you're getting here. Anyway, so that's what happens when I'm doing a reading. They're coming in all different ways. And then a lot of times if you sit in with a reading with me, sometimes like I'll just get like knocked over. Like, first of all, I always have to read without my shoes on. I don't know why. And it's hard for me to have sleeves on. I can't really have sleeves. And I read without my shoes, and a lot of times I got to put my hair up. And if I'm doing a gallery reading and I'm in someone's house or a restaurant, I'm like the OCD. I go around and Spirit literally tells me I have to move this chair here. Sometimes I have to put a pocketbook over there. I feel the energy in the room, and some things I have to move around. So my clients will tell you if you're doing a gallery reading, there's like 20, 30 people that are coming from the family. I'm like, you have to sit here, and I move them. They can't all sit where they want to sit. Just have to follow what Spirit tells me, and I rearrange the room. And the same thing is if I'm at a restaurant, like if they're deciding to eat afterwards, sometimes I got to move those plates. I just have to listen to what Spirit says, and that's how I'm going to communicate. So I just also want to talk to you about how some people might be wondering, like, wow, like, how did you first start talking to Spirit? Well, it wasn't like how I first started talking to Spirit. Spirit started, as long as I can remember, you know how when you're a kid and you have your first memory, like, oh, my God, I hated that baby food my mom used to get. Well, I love baby food. I have memories of me just, like, wanting more and more. But as far as my memories can go back, as far as I can even remember, I had Spirit all around me. Especially usually at night, I'd be afraid to go to sleep. I know I talked about this before, but Spirit was trying to communicate with me since I can remember. They were always there. And my grandmom had said since I was a baby, I used to cry and cry and cry. Again, she thought it was because my mother was killed when I was 2 months old. Maybe like I had some separation anxiety. But probably as when I was a baby, I don't have these memories. I can only remember back to 2.5, 3. Spirit was probably all around me then too, and it's probably why I cried so much. Because when I was 2 and 3, I could never, when I did have the ability to talk and communicate, I used to make my grandma, my uncles sleep with me. And not just sleep with me, but they had to put their arm around me because they'd be all around me. So Spirit was trying to communicate. And at that time, obviously, I didn't want them to. And the same thing when I was a teenager. Like, I'd be afraid to go anywhere. Like, I couldn't sleep at my aunt's house because in my aunt's house, I would see my Uncle Howard, and like there'd be everybody everywhere. At this time, I didn't actually see them like I did when I was a kid, but I knew they were there. I was like, oh my God, they're all here. I could never sleep. It was just so hard for me. And of course, as a teenager, you're not sleeping with anyone in your family. You want to try to be brave and be alone, but it was a difficult thing for me, with Spirit always waking me up. Even, again, when I went away to college, I used to have to call my girlfriend on the phone and try to fall asleep until finally I had my boyfriend move in with me because I couldn't sleep alone. It was just crazy, crazy, crazy. And I hadn't even embraced talking to Spirit yet until I was probably 20. And then it was Halloween night, and I had been attending some classes because I found out what mediumship was, and I was like, wow, maybe this is what I can do. So it was Halloween night, and I was sitting in my living room in my house in Jersey, and across the street from my house was my uncle's house, and my uncle had died, and the house was abandoned. So it was empty because when my uncle died, my aunt had moved out, so no one was living in the house. So I was sitting there on Halloween night. I'll never forget it. And I just started, the door was open, because the kids were coming up, so I had the door open, and I was looking across at my uncle's house saying to him, oh, I really miss you because we used to give out Halloween candy together. We were both like, he'd be across the street, and it would be like a big thing on our street. And I was like, I really miss you. I wish you were here. And I heard him talking to me. I was like, okay, I'm super crazy. This cannot be happening. So I was having a conversation. He was telling me all about the spirit world, about what it's like to be over there. He was talking so much to me. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I need a sign. I said, I need to know if this is really you because I'm crazy. You got to show me a sign. All of a sudden, 3 fire trucks come down my street, and the smoke alarms and the sprinklers were going off in his house. Again, no one was living there. And the fire, of course, they were alerted, and they all had to come over. Now, my uncle loved fire trucks, and he loved everything about fire trucks. Even when he was an adult, he was just like, loved firemen, fire trucks. And that was like, oh my God, that was my first, like, I completely got a sign, like I talked to spirit. And that's when I started really learning about signs. Now, if you know me, you follow my Instagram, I'm always like, I need a sign. But that was my first sign. And it was like clearly insane. I'm like, oh my God, this was an unbelievable sign. And not too long after that, I was sitting upstairs on my 3rd floor, and I was just putting my makeup on. I was in the makeup mirror, and I heard this lady talking to me. And I was like, okay, I'm completely crazy again. At this point, again, I'm only 20. I haven't really embraced this yet. So I was like, what's your name? Betty. She tells me her name's Betty. And she's telling me about how to embrace that you're a medium, and she's giving me all this stuff about what I should do. She's telling me, and I'm like, I'm talking to her, but I'm like, okay, this is super crazy. So I call my friend Cheryl, and I say, Cheryl, because Cheryl is very spiritual, and I was telling her, and I go, and I talked to this lady, Betty. Turns out Cheryl's mother was best friends with this lady, Betty, that lived on the same street that I lived on. She was dead for like 10 years. Lived on the same street I lived on, and she was a psychic medium. So here's Betty, and here's spirit always knows the connection. So Cheryl and Don are their sisters. They were like my best friends. So, of course, this woman was their mom's best friend. So this is how spirit communicates sometimes, because they want to get the message across. And from there, I gave her mother a reading, and Betty, of course, came through and just like validated everything, things I wouldn't know about Betty's life through her mom. Now, this was, again, only my 2nd spirit communication by then. Now, by this time, not really convinced. I'm still a skeptic at this point that I'm a medium. I'm still a skeptic. I was still thinking, man, I don't know about this. Do I really talk? I'm not sure. I'm going to have some more signs, of course, and I needed more signs. And I still didn't know how to control spirit totally at this point. So I wasn't able to turn it on and turn it off, especially when I was a teenager. Like, all my friends I went to school with would tell you, like, when I talked to them after I came out of the psychic closet and they found out about it, which wasn't even too long ago, I said to them, did you ever notice anything? And they're saying, well, yeah, when kids had parties at 5 or 6, we played Pin the Town Donkey, and at my house we pulled out the Ouija board, and we did Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board, and we did Bloody Mary, and she was like, you were always a little different, and we would go to parties, and you'd be like, I have to leave, or you'd be like, this person's talking, this person said this, this, and this, it would always come true. But so they validated a lot of things that, like, I didn't even make sense of when I was a teenager. But now, looking back, I do. So, again, I'm still not sure I'm a medium, and I'm wondering, like, how am I talking to spirit? So the Long Island medium was coming to Philadelphia, to Temple College, and my aunt wanted to go. And I was like, yes, I want to go, because I want to see if this woman can connect to my mother, because remember, my mom was killed when I was 2 months old. So I still not really embracing talking to spirits. So we go to see the Long Island medium. I'm so excited. And my aunt was in a wheelchair. So we were all the way at the top because there was no ramp. So we had to be all the way at the top. So she's going around talking to people. And she said something, of course, when you're a medium and you go to these kind of things, you're always going to get picked. And I was very, very, like I said, at the top, and she was only doing like her people at the bottom, but she couldn't help it because she was like, someone's coming through. There was a mother. She was killed by a hit and run car. And I'm raising my hand. Of course, she can't even see me. I'm nosebleed level, but everyone starts screaming for her to pick me, right? Pick me all the way at the top. So she finally addresses me, and we talk. And I was like, super cool. That was super cool. I was so excited about this. But then after she stopped talking, I heard the spirit talking to me. And she was like, tell my daughter. And she started telling me, tell my daughter this, this, and this. And I love her. I miss her. It's Debbie. Tell Debbie this. Now, Debbie was a girl I went to high school with. I haven't seen her in years. And she's giving me all these messages. All of a sudden, I get a text message on my phone from Debbie. Debbie was in the audience in the audience, and she sees me standing up at the top, and she's like, Gina, I'm here too. Meanwhile, I didn't even know her mother was passed, nothing. Meanwhile, her mother's talking to me. Now, that's spirit communication for you, because, you know, her mother had worked it somehow. Me and Debbie are there. And because Debbie wasn't getting picked on, you know, and there's thousands of people there. And her mother starts talking to me. I'm like, Debbie, you're not going to believe this, but call me. And I didn't know her mother's name or anything. I'm like, do you know, Patricia, that's my mother, she says. And I'm like, oh, my God, well, da-da-da. So at this point, this is like my third spirit communication, which, like, I can't deny at this point. But that's how spirit moves things when they want to communicate with you. That was insane and crazy, how things happen like that. Communication with spirit, at that point, I was still so open, I really didn't know how to turn it off. Now I could be in one of those things, and I turn it off. I don't allow spirit used to wake me up and talk to me. They still do, but it's usually just friends of a friend or a friend's dog or a friend's mom, or, you know, I still get woke up. People that feel like they can wake me up, that know me, will wake me up. But most of the time, if I'm doing a gallery reading, spirit doesn't wake me up. They don't come home with me. They did when I was new. I didn't know how to shut it off. I had spirit come home with me. I had spirit waking me up. Now, not saying it never happens, because it does happen sometimes, but mostly no. And people will also ask me, are you nervous that, you know, you have like an evil spirit communication? Well, now, you know, I've been reading professionally probably a good 12 years. So in those times, sometimes I do let spirit talk through me. I completely let them come in and they talk, and I always let the council talk through me with Christopher. I go into channel. That's not me talking. If you have a reading with me, you completely know I am not talking at this point. Usually something different happens to my eyes. I become different. It's not me talking. So I do feel safe, obviously, to let Christopher, the council, talk through me. Been doing that for years. I have no problem. But I do occasionally, I can tell what spirit I do want to come in and not to come in. I have a feel for it. But it took me a while. So when I was new, I did have, a spirit that came in and that wasn't a really good spirit. And I was trying to push him out. He was pushing, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. He was pushing back. He was trying to come so hard in. And he pushed in. It was the first time. It was in my aunt's house, because it was actually my friend Kathy's house, which used to be my aunt's across the street, because my house was having work. So I was doing readings in my friend Kathy's house across the street. And at that time, again, I never had let spirit come in. I didn't know how to stop spirit from coming in. So this spirit was pushing so hard, I just felt my chest was going to explode. And all of a sudden, he was talking. He was inside me, talking out. And it was so completely exhausting. I thought I was going to die. That scared the shit out of me. I thought I was never going to read again. After that, I was like, I'm done. I never want to read again. I don't want to talk to spirit. This is never going to happen to me again. Of course, I got over it. But at that time, I was so shooken up. It was such a strange experience. My heart rate went up. I felt like I couldn't breathe. At this point, again, like I told you, I do let some spirit come and talk through me, and I don't take on such physical as I did before. It doesn't exhaust me and almost kill me like that first time did. It was so much pressure. And sometimes when spirit does want to come in, they get very excited. And I do occasionally let them talk through me. I feel them come in. They start pushing on my head. They'll come in. They usually come through the top of my head when they want to talk. They come in. They push me down. And I literally fall down almost. I have to sit. And then I'll let them talk through me. It's really a brief amount of time that I let them, and I push them back out. And even when I channel and I talk to the council, I go light. I don't let them completely embrace me and come completely in and completely take over me, like I do and have listened to Esther Hicks, and she talks to spirit. I think it's Abraham, and she lets Abraham, I think the whole hour, come in, and Abraham will actually refer to Esther as another person. I never let it go that long. I'll get maybe 5-minute bouts. I never I could let them stay as long as she does, but that's not how I feel comfortable doing my readings when I'm channeling the council. And the council is like, again, who I speak with. The council is the higher energy. They have access to the Akashic records, and whoever I'm speaking with, they have access to their higher guides and their life path, like the journey of the soul, I call it. So the council is able to look at my client's journey of the soul, and I'm able to help them through the council, and they're unopinionated, where when I do talk to spirit, they are opinionated. So they might be prejudiced here, prejudiced in other life. They have their opinions still. They do not become godly when they cross over. However, council, and people will tell you, my clients will be like, scared. They'll be like, Gina, I want another session, but I'm scared to talk to counsel because counsel's mean. Like, sometimes I actually feel bad, and they'll be like, now why did you do this again? You fucked up again. They curse. They tell you, they yell at you. It's almost like a tough love thing times 20. And I know who I can say it to and who I can't, and that's the reason I don't go so deep into it, because sometimes, people get a little upset because it's a lot of hard lessons in life. Like I always say, like hashtags, pass your fucking test. Well, spirit means pass your fucking test because, when we're born here, we come here and we say that, hey, when I come here, these are some of the things that I didn't do so well in my last life. I want to come here. I want to relearn, these lessons. And when I say pass your test, and it's not like spirit saying, we're going to give you this test. They don't make tests up for you to pass or fail, not at all. But it's where your energy brings you, what you resonate with. And you're going to be given something that might be an uncomfortable situation, uncomfortable energy, uncomfortable conflict, because you haven't resolved that yourself, which I would call passing your test. So it's going to keep presenting to you because that's how you vibrate. That's where the energy keeps bringing you back to. Spirit doesn't set you up and say, pass the test, like when you're in school and it's like, here's your test, now it's time for your test. It's nothing like that. You've created these tests yourself, really. So hashtag pass your fucking test just means like you got to change your vibration. You got to change your energy. You're not passing your test, So when I do talk to counsel, they're mean, and especially with my clients that I do intuitive counseling with, I do life journeys. I look at your past lives, and I work through counsel and, your relatives, your ancestors, whoever wants to come in. And it's kind of like when you have a session with me, I do have a doctorate in counseling, so I do have a lot of book knowledge. So Dr. Gina is coming in, and I'm also remote viewing. Remote viewing means I'm able to look at things that happened before and the energy around the people and situations. So I use that. And I also talk to the counsel who knows your soul's journey. I also talk to your relatives who have their opinions. So when you have a session with me, it's kind of like all that is combined together. And we look at all that to get where you need to be. And when I do communicate with spirit sometimes, and as a new, I guess, when I first started doing, I still do the cards, and I'm going to do a little universal message for you guys tonight because I know you guys like that. But when I do the cards, spirit's talking to me. I don't know what the cards mean. People go and they learn how to read tarot cards or whatever. I don't know. I do them. I look at the pictures. I do the message. And most of the time I do it because people like it. People like the cards. People like the message. But Spirit's always doing the reading for me. I'm never really reading the cards. And that's how I do my tarot card readings when you follow my Instagram. It's kind of like a universal message through Spirit for me. So it's super cool that way. So like I was saying, when I'm doing your reading, you're getting a mixture of every kind of spirit communication you have in one reading. And usually if you have your first reading with me, a half an hour, I do half an hour readings. A half an hour is not enough. Like you totally need to book an hour reading because you might be getting hit with shit that you don't know. And I used to get upset with spirit when I used to do readings, and I say, like, how come you can't tell me the future? Well, sometimes they clearly can. Like if I'm talking to spirit and it's in your Akashic records, a lot of my clients will be like, you told me I was going to meet this guy. You told me this. It was all there because that was already written. And sometimes I clearly can't see it because it's not all written. It's not all going to happen. It's not all written. So spirit can't always tell me that. And it's pretty good. They're pretty good at telling me, no, this is written. This isn't. This is going to happen. But Again, it took me a while to understand that it's not all written and why I was able to see the future and not. So like I said, I'm going to do a universal message for you guys. So this message here, I do use the Rider-Waite deck card like I do on my Instagram. This would be for somebody that's out there listening right now. Could be 2 or 3 people. And this message would be something that resonates with you. You're like, oh my God, that's so me. Then that's for you. I'm shuffling the cards right now, and I'm going to just pull some cards like I do on my Instagram. I usually do 5, sometimes a little more, and give you the message. And this message is from Spirit, and it's going to be for somebody out there. So I'm going to pull 5 cards for this message. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm going to channel this message. So Dr. Gina is going to take a little step in, and here you go. So this looks like you will be starting a family. So somebody out there wants to have a child. Someone's trying to have a child, and it looks like you will be having a child that's coming to your life. Like there's a new beginning. A child is coming to you. This child is coming to you. It's going to be a very special gift, something that you've been looking forward to. And just know that the child is on the way. Also, again, when I'm telling you these messages right now, each message you don't have to resonate with every single thing I'm telling you. So one message might be for you, it might be part for you or part not. So that was clearly for somebody. Can we go back on the other side? You have a decision to make. There's 2 avenues for you to take right now. Both of the choices that you have are confusing. And this is like 2 job or 2 career opportunities for you to pick. You don't know what one to pick. They're both like, this one has benefits, this one don't. You don't really know what to pick. So what Spirit's telling you is just take some time and meditate. Try to wait for, they're saying for the sun to go down, this is a really good time with the moon this month. So just take this time to really ask for the guidance and your intuition, and they're going to lead you towards that. Also, this person is having, this is for a woman, and that the person, she is in control right now. This woman is in control. She is bringing to her everything that she wants. She's just welcoming it. The manifestations, the things that you want are all coming to you. It definitely looks like there's 2 big manifestations that you want, and they're coming to you. You will see a crazy sign of a bird in the next few days to prove this to be right. The bird will do something crazy, or it's just going to be a bird that's out of place, but that's how you're going to know this message is from you. Also, somebody here is signing papers. This is agreement, the contract, something that is going to give you. This is either a marriage contract, someone is getting married. This is a marriage. Someone's getting married, and also someone is signing papers to give them a step up in life. Also, all the suffering that you've been going through, keeping you up at night, stress, wondering what to do, a lot thinking about this person, like a significant other that keeps you up at night, stressing. After August, 1, 2, 3, 5, after August, this is all going to be over, and you're going to be sleeping at night. So that is your universal message, whoever these messages resonate with, again, part of it or all of it. So I want to thank everybody for this, and what I'm going to do now is we are going to, like I told you, we do not have call-ins on the show, but we do have this chat that's open. So if you're listening now and you go to the link, you can type in a question, anything about that I spoke with, and Shay and I will be answering the question. So I'm going to ask Shay to come in now. We're going to talk a little bit together, and then we're going to go in there and see if anyone has anything they want to ask. to deliver the message. And I believe, because I always wonder, what the fuck did I spend 10 and a half years in school for Spirit to just knock me out of my doctorate degree? And why do I have so many degrees? Well, Spirit helped me get all these degrees so I can communicate. I grew up in the ghetto. I grew up on the street. I grew up with drug dealers fighting. I grew up with family that was in and out of jail. Why did I grow up on the street? Because I can talk to street people. Spirit really brought me through everything. I went to NYU. I went to Thomas Jefferson Medical School. I went to Ivy League colleges. How did someone from the street wind up there? You know, I danced through college. So I've been to the lowest and the highest, and I believe it was all in preparation to get where I am, because I can deliver the message to people of all walks of life. And that's what I see where I do use some of my book knowledge, how I deliver the message, how I can communicate it. And that's where it helps me. And again, it's been my journey since I was born. I came here for this purpose, but that's why Spirit drugged me through the upbringing that I was with and who I was raised with and the people I was with, but yet put me through school, Ivy League schools. Someone like me should have never been in the colleges I went to, the way I was raised, never. But that's what in preparation of this. So that's how you usually know. And when I'm talking to like a relative, obviously I'm saying everything about the relatives. I sometimes take on their mannerisms. If you're reading, like I'll talk like them, I'll walk like them, you know, because I let them, I don't let them fully envelop me, but I let them come in enough that I can pick up their personality traits. So if you have a reading with me, you clearly know the difference. And if it's on a phone, it's a little harder to tell. You can't always tell, but just probably by the way I'm saying things, you'll know the difference. Does that answer it?
We had a little technical difficulty there for 30 seconds, but I think they got it.
Okay.
We do have a couple more questions.
Okay.
And let's see. I want to make sure I get this right. Lisa
right.
from Tennessee says,
Lisa from Tennessee, okay.
Yep, she says, I get pennies, feathers, red birds all the time. I know it could be my mom, dad, or grandmom, but I live next to a cemetery. Really close. Do cemeteries bother Gina?
This is such a cool, awesome question. Man, I love this question. When I was a teenager, again, like I said, I was always the weird kid, right? But when I was a teenager, we had the cemetery across the street from my house. And me and my friends, we used to obviously drink. We were kids. Where you want to go drink? We used to drink on this cemetery, and there was one tombstone, and the guy who was buried there, his last name was Wigglesworth. And we used to party there since I was a kid, you know, party on Wigglesworth, and we used to go to the cemetery. And I freaking love cemeteries. But before I embraced mediumship, when I was a kid and when I was a teenager, I could not be in a cemetery. Not at all. Not at all, except for Wigglesworth. It was the only tombstone that I could actually sit with. But before that, no. But now I love cemeteries. Sometimes I just go. Like there's this Belmar Cemetery, and I just go. I go to the Cherry Hill Cemetery. I go, and I don't even know the people. I go and talk. Like I do weird things sometimes, and I'll just go and talk to spirit. I walk down I live in New York City. I'll walk down the streets in New York City. I like to go out at 1 or 2 in the morning, especially in the summer. And I go to some of the worst parts of the city just so I can talk to spirit that's on the street. It's just what I like to do it. I go to bars by myself, like in bad neighborhoods. And I'll just go and I don't drink anymore. When I used to drink, sometimes I miss drinking because I had fun doing this. And I would talk to spirit in the bar. And like sometimes I really think, damn, like I just want to go back and drink tequila again. Cause the guy that I see, he would always be late and next to getting home from work, and he'd be late, and I'd be like, cool, because I used to go to this bar like Casablanca. It was in Bed-Stuy, like a bad part of Brooklyn. And I used to sit in this bar and wait for him. He'd be like, I'm late. I'm coming back from, you know, he was getting done work, and I'd be like, cool, I just go sit in this bar and be like so happy he was late. Sometimes I'd go early just so I could sit in the bar and drink tequila and talk to spirit. Yeah.
That's funny.
So they don't bother me. And yes, there's red cardinals is a big sign for me too. Even that means that sometimes a red cardinal, even here in New York City, I have 2 red cardinals, which is strange. Well, wherever I live, I have red cardinals. But that is usually a sign for sure. as is feathers. Feathers is an amazing sign, and if you're following my Instagram, like I have crazy feather signs. Even again, that weirdo medium that's always like, can you show me a sign? Like, I need a sign. Like, even yesterday, I was having a bad day, or the day before, and I was walking down the river where I like to connect, and I was talking to my angel, Anna, and I said, listen, Anna, I need a sign you're with me. And then I talked to the council, my guides, and I go, and I need a sign you guys are with me. And then I was talking to my grandma, and I was like, I need a sign. I said, all 3 signs. So I'm talking, and I even put this on my Instagram. I look up, and on the bridge, the FDR bridge, right there, it says Anna in graffiti. I'm like, I never saw that before. So there was my sign for my angel. And my spirit guides, they'll give me like paper clips. That means hold it together. They give me a safety pin. I'm going to be safe. They give me safety pins and paper clips, or sometimes money, to show me money's on my way. And then I saw my paper clip. I was like, great. So I said to Grandma, I'm like, Grandma, before I come home, I need a sign. And my grandmother was Irish and German, this one. And so she didn't give me a sign. I was so upset. So I was like, I had to go to Dwayne Reed. Okay, I go, Grandma, I'm going in Dwayne Reed. Maybe you can play a song in Dwayne Reed. That'll show me. I said, play a song in Dwayne Reed. Play a song so I know it's you. I come out of Dwayne Reed, no song. I'm walking home. I walk past this pub, and they're playing the Irish music. Well, she was very into the, Irish. She embraced her Irishness, and people were in there doing the Irish jig, the Irish dance, and I was like, I just started crying. I'm like, what a freaking sign! So, they're there to give you signs, and for me, and if you know me, I'm always like, I need a sign, and I actually see chat right now, which I wasn't sure, and I see my good friend Joanna McCool. This is like my BFF, my life, my spiritual sister. She's in there. She knows, me and her talk all the time, and we're always like, show me signs, and she'll always be calling me, I got this sign, and, signs are amazing. When you ask for a sign, they show you. They show you a sign. And for her, thank God she hasn't had many people pass, but she did have her grandfather pass, and I remember speaking with her grandfather, and I was like, he's going to show you a sign, and then all of a sudden she would get, out of nowhere, she would have a feather appear, and that was her grandfather. That's when she first started getting signs, and now she had her dog pass, and her dog will give her signs too, because her, dogs stay around you. But you ask for a sign, and they're going to give it to you. No fail. They never let you down. They give you that sign. So I actually can see chat. Can you believe that, Shay?
I can. I have faith in you.
This is like a milestone here.
Hey, we make a good team,
Well, because you're so good at all this stuff, and Shay's like, I'm going to send you the link. I was thinking, I'm not going to probably see this, but so I see Joanna. She says, as in, how would I be able to tell? Anyone new connecting to spirit? Hold on, let me see.
The question starts before that. There's 2. It says, when communicating with spirit guides, how do you know if you're talking to a positive energy? As in, how would I be able to tell, or anyone new connecting with a spirit?
Okay. All right, I like this question too. This is and I hear this from other people too. They're and even when I first started, my fiance at the time was like, oh, you're going to bring in evil spirits, da, da, da. And I never really took it to heart. I never thought about it. I was never thought I'd be connected to evil energy. But as I said, I have for sure. And I had let an evil spirit actually come home from a gallery with me one time. And I didn't know, but I knew afterwards, because things started happening to me when I was sleeping, and I would feel different things. And then I realized, hey, man, I let an evil spirit come near me. So now I make sure I do my protection. I say only spirits that walk in the light of God. And since then, thank God, everything's good, and I always burn my sage. But, yeah, sometimes you don't know, because they can come, and they just take you over. And I had seen many. There's this one spirit, and this was when I was in school for psychology. This is a funny story if I can get it in real quick. I was in school for psychology at NYU, and I was living with my fiance at the time, man. And he had a million problems. He still does. I love him, whatever. But he definitely was my study. He's now in prison. Take that how it is. But when I was living with him when I was in college, everything I learned in psychology, I was like, oh, bipolar, that's him. Everything I learned, I was like him. Turns out it all was him. But anyway, he would start drinking, and I clearly saw one night I was sleeping in my apartment, and he was insane. And when spirit takes over him, and he had different, I even named them. This one spirit, Lefty, would come take over him. Totally take him over. And he would be drinking. He was really cool. He actually put his hat to the left and started walking with a limp. Changed his whole personality. That was Lefty. Took him over. It was insane. And then he had another spirit that came. It was Crackhead Bob. First Lefty would come. And then when he got really messed up because he would do drugs and he would get oblivious, Crackhead Bob was an evil, mean son of a bitch. That's why he's in jail now. He became violent and he did a lot of fucked up shit. And Lefty was cool, but Crackhead Bob would come in. I saw one time I was sleeping, that spirit, Crackhead Bob, I seen it come looking for him because he knew the word was out. He was fucked up, and it was time for him to play. He came, he looked for him. He didn't find him in my apartment. Obviously, he went out and found him that night. And what happened to him that night? He got, a huge fight. He got hit over the head with a bat. He wound up beating the shit out of somebody and wound up in jail. That's the evil spirit. I seen it. So it wasn't too long ago. I was out with this other guy. I was dating him, and we're in the Uber. We're in the back of the Uber, and this guy says to me, he looked at the Uber guy. He goes, "I want to get my lady home first." And I go, "Motherfucking Lefty." The same spirit, man. They follow because Lefty always likes me. This might sound insane, but it's freaking true. That spirits come when someone gets fucked up or in a wrong state of mind because they want to enjoy that human stuff. And when you become intoxicated.
Any vulnerability gives, if your guard's down, it's easier for them to get in.
You know what? I never would have, at that point, like, I didn't, I was only in college. Now I believe it to be true, but at that point I thought I was just making shit up. But yeah, now I know that it's true. There's actually a name for it too, and I forget what it's even called, but it wasn't even too long ago I found out that to be true. I forget what it's called, but it's true. It really happens. And I guess someone said that's why they call alcohol spirits. Makes so much sense now. But yeah, so it's hard to really tell who's evil. It's hard. That's why you got to protect yourself. Like, sometimes you can get the feel, but sometimes you can't. It's just kind of like people. You never really know. You're not always 100% sure. I mean, it's hard to really tell. You just have to keep your protection up, for sure.
Yep.
It's crazy.
There's always
a
small chance. I mean, any part of the paranormal field, there is that small chance that this is going to happen.
I know that.
Yeah.
You do a lot of ghost investigations, right? Yep. So I'm sure that you, like I said, I only did one, but what I hear is when you're doing those investigations that you actually do come across that.
Yeah, you can.
I don't know.
It's not as often, my belief, it's not as often as some people think, but there's always that chance, and you need to take precautions, otherwise it can happen.
And how do you guys do it? Like, for the ghost hunt for me, for Eloise, like, I just did my protection. But how do you guys do it when you do that? Same thing.
It has to be protection. It has to be what you believe. You can't, if you don't believe in God, you can't say a prayer to God.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do. I pray and I protect myself. It has to be something you believe. You have to be stern. You have to make sure you're healthy. You have to make sure you're not depressed. Any kind of thing that will bring you down has that opening. And again, this is just how I believe. This is what I think. So.
No, I get, like, it wasn't even too long ago. Like, I went maybe a month or two ago. I was going through some shit. Like, I was so sick. I thought I was dying. Like, my nose was just bleeding to death. I lost my voice. I was so sick. This one spirit had made me lose my job, like, in July.
Oh, that's right. I was in Gettysburg when this happened. I remember I got your text. Yes. I
couldn't talk, and I was so, blood's gushing out of my nose. And that was because I let my energy, I vibrated so low on the scale, and I let this one situation affect me so much that I let this evil energy get to me. And it just, I thought I thought, this is it, man. This is it. I don't have health insurance. I'm going to die. But, then I said, I remember I'm going to fight back. And I just started going to church, lighting candles, and just praying. And then everyone's like, you're going to have to go to the doctor. You're going to need antibiotics. I'm like, oh, no. This has nothing to do with that. And I'm going to, because I knew what it was coming from. I'm like, I'm going to beat this. Like, oh, no, you're never going to. You need this antibiotics. No. And it was really just because I let myself get affected by this negative person, and it was able to come and get me. And it's never going to happen to me again. Again, this just happened to me in July. I just learned a new lesson in July, and just recently I had cut someone out of my life that's been really close to me for 7 years. And I just was like, you know what? You brought me a lot of this stuff, and this will never touch me again. And I never thought I could be so stern like that, because I hadn't been. But once you realize what that energy can do to you, and especially when you get older, like you're 19, 20, 21, 22 even, you don't care. But after you get a little older, you're just like, you realize this freaking life, like that shit can kill you, that negative energy, for sure. So no one's going to do that to me no more. And I just learned that not too long ago, for sure.
It's hard to do, but once you know where you are, you just got to kind of draw that line. There's no...
Yep. It's just like spirit, man. Spirit is my team, and my cats. Like, they're all with me now. I lost one cat since I talked to everybody. That was around the same time this energy was getting to me. He was my boy, and it was tragic. Everyone knows I always had my 4. I'm down to 3. And my one little guy's getting old, but they're my spirit team. Like, they're my boys, my team. They're right with me now, all 3 of them. And you just got to watch the energy that you bring around you and be surrounded. And animals are nothing but pure love. They come to you, they choose you, they pick you, and that they're here just to give love. They chose to come here to just give love. They just give. They give. So, well.
Joanna says, pass the tests. She left out the F word, but we get it.
I know. And, it's funny because when Girls versus Ghost Charlotte, my girl, when I was doing that show, some people would say, you got to warn me about Dr. Gina cursing. Warning, guys, warning. Shay knows. Shay does hers. Warning, just warning. Shay gave me the green light, but, I try not to.
With my mouth, I cannot say no cursing because you never know what's going to come out of my mouth. I calm down a little sometimes, but,
I remember trying when Sharon told me I was trying, and I'm like, oh, hashtag pass your test. I'm like, man, I regular Gina curses all the time, too,
Yeah.
Like, I can't help it. Because I can't. It's like even when I work with kids, I remember them saying, I work with teenagers, you said shit. I'm like, I didn't. At least I didn't say anything worse, But it's just an adjective. I always go back to, like, who said it was a bad word? It's just an adjective. Like, someone could have said, the word bird was a bird. Actually, bird, depending on how you say it, right? But, I mean, the word, like, chair could be bad. Like, it's just an adjective. It's an adjective. Fuck this. It's just an adjective. Just how it goes. It's not a bad word, It makes no sense. Nothing. It's not a bad word. Bad. That's a bad word. I know. Like, who invented the word and said, that's a bad word? That's a dirty word. No, it doesn't matter. It's just a word. It doesn't matter.
It's just
the language.
The sentence a little prettier. That's all.
Yeah. And in another language, fuck doesn't mean nothing. They don't even know what you're saying. So it's just how people want to interpret it. It doesn't matter. So when I say, shut the fuck up, maybe it's bad. But it would have been bad even if I said, shut up.
Right? Exactly.
So I guess it doesn't really matter. But anyway, well, I hope that I want to thank everyone. Make sure I say all my thanks. And thanks, Shay, man. It's so cool when you come on and we get to talk. I really like this part of the show.
I love it.
And we have the chat. This is, like, super, super cool. People are going to get used to the chat because people are used to calling in. So hopefully people will get used to typing things in and interacting, because even if we're not interacting with you, you guys can like interact with yourselves and, have your own little answers here. And that's cool too, because the community that's going to listen to the show is going to be all interested. So you guys can like actually help each other out. And that's what's really cool about chat too, because when I was listening to your other shows and I'm not on it, like if you guys were talking, I'm having a chat with whoever. Even like last night, DPX went live at Eloise, and they weren't always on, but I was like in there chatting with people. It's so cool. I like this chat a lot. So, even Joanna says she likes to chat. See, it's cool. So Joanna's my soul sister. I'm glad she's in the chat. Thank you, Joanna. And thank you, Lisa Phillips, too, man. You're in there. Lisa's on my Instagram. So thanks for listening. And Wolf Hawkeye, he's another cool guy that's always interactive. Thank you, guys.
Wolf is a great friend of mine. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I love interaction. I really appreciate everyone in the chat and whoever is listening. I know a lot of my girls are out there listening because you're texting me, but you're not in the chat. So feel free to chat and interact so we can all grow together and learn from each other. That's one of the reasons for this show, so that we can all work together. And if you're following my Instagram, remember this is the most powerful month of the year. Not only is it my birthday month, but it is August, man. August is all about manifesting, and it's all special because I don't know all about these moons and stuff. I really can't say I follow that so much, but my girl Joanna does, so she'll always send me what's happening with the moon, so I'm up on top of it. But I always knew like August was super, super powerful, but apparently it's something special about the moons, and I've been posting the things that people say to me, and I know we're energy, so we choose when we're born because of the stars. We choose what moons we want to be born on. So yes, the moon gives us energy. I do know that. I do know the sun. I don't know all the specifics, astrology of it all. If I channel it, I'll know it, but regular Gina doesn't really know that stuff. But I know that there is a lot of truth to it, and I do know that August is a freaking powerful month. Last time I did Manifest March, all three of my big things came true, and a lot of my clients were telling me they did. So what I really like about this chat is, like, let's talk about that stuff. Like, this is August. This is Manifest August, and I have 5 big things for this month to come through. It's birthday month for me. Born on the 11th. 11's a powerful number, and I'm having all these things come true, and all my clients are too. So let's bring all of our energies up and work together. So, all right, Shay, so I'm on in 2 more weeks, right?
Yes, 2 weeks from tonight.
Okay. 2 weeks from tonight. I hope to see you guys back in this chat, and the rest of you people who didn't chat in, feel free to chat with us. So thank you, Shay. Thank you so much. And thanks, everyone. And I hope to see you guys on my Instagram and my Facebook and interact with me. All right. Thank you, Shay.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Thank you for listening, and for all things Paranormal Buzz Radio related, check out our website at paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Celebrate the big 2020 with T-Mobile. Switch now and get 2 lines for just $90 and 2 new iPhone 11s on us. So you can take a portrait built for 2 with the ultra-wide camera.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, cute.
Hurry in to T-Mobile and get 2 lines for $90 and 2 iPhone 11s on us with qualifying trade-ins.
Via 24 credits for well-qualified buyers with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. If you cancel before receiving 24 credits, you may owe up to the full value of your device of $699.99. Contact us. Qualifying port-ins and finance agreements required.
Celebrate the big 2020 with T-Mobile. Switch now and get 2 lines for just $90 and 2 new iPhone 11s on us. So you can take a portrait built for 2 with the ultra-wide camera.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, cute.
Hurry in to T-Mobile and get 2 lines for $90 and 2 iPhone 11s on us with qualifying trade-ins.
Via 24 credits for well-qualified buyers with autopay, plus taxes and fees. If you cancel before receiving 24 credits, you may owe up to the full value of your device of $699.99. Contact us. Qualifying port-ins and finance agreements required.